What childhood myth were you crushed to find out was false? I don't think anyone told me this. But for some reason, I just kind of knew for a fact that NASA had the anti-gravity chambers and astronauts trained in those before going to space. Somewhere in middle childhood I realized that that's not possible, and that swimming pools and vomit comet flights were the closest thing. I was so sure though. When I was a kid, my friends all believed that the hoverboards in Back to the Future 2 were real, but a concerned parents group got them banned. I was mad about it, but still excited at the thought that someday they would be unbanned and I'd get to fly through the air. But it was just wires and Hollywood magic. So disappointing. That my drink would be spiked with LSD at college. Now, roofies and rape drugs weren't really a thing back then. Men just tried to get you blackout drunk. But I was disappointed to learn that I was going to have to pay for my drugs, and that evil, insidious dealers don't just give product away for funsies. My family has roots in Russia, and my mum convinced me, when I was 10, I had an arranged marriage from the old country. I thought she was serious. When I was a teenager, I thought, oh yeah, I got a Russian bride waiting for me. I was kinda crushed when I found out it was all a joke. I was devastated when I discovered the tooth fairy wasn't real. I would look for small, tooth-shaped white stones in the garden and put them under my pillow. I tricked Dad into thinking I lost another tooth, and that night I caught him red-handed under my pillow mid-exchange. I tricked my mum into telling me that Santa Claus wasn't real. I wanted to know the truth, so I told her that I knew he wasn't real, and that I was too old for that kind of thing to see what she would say. When she agreed, I was devastated. Made up myself, but I was convinced if I left a glass of water in my room long enough it would evaporate and make it rain inside. And it was very disappointing to learn that it wasn't actually possible. Stores didn't have to give you a free sucker if you brought in a Tootsie Pop wrapper with the Native American and star. I thought it was a hard rule, but nope. Some just did it because nice. Mythbusters was one of my favorite shows as a kid, and I admit I was very disappointed to find out that Adam and Jaime weren't really friends, and often didn't get along. Mythbusted, among many other delusional stories, that every species of animal and a few humans sailed on a large boat as the entire earth was flooded whilst everyone and everything else perished. Snipes that you can catch with a paper bag and flashlight are not real. They described the snipe as a cross between a kiwi and a roadrunner. I wanted one for a pet. I don't remember this, but apparently I begged my mum to get Pillsbury rolls, and I was so disappointed that I cried when she opened it and the doughboy didn't pop out. I think I was more upset about the tooth fairy than anything else. I wanted fairies to be real. Okay. I was obsessed with the Fairly Odd Parents as a kid, too. One time I had a cramp in my side. My dad told me it was because one of my legs was longer than the other. Still to this day I think this every time I get a cramp. That simply working hard and saving money would ensure a rich and fulfilling life materially. But I guess it's hard to explain inflation and corruption to a kid. I always thought adults were geniuses that knew everything. I once asked my dad how waves at the beach were made. He said whales. I believed that for years. To keeping your eyes crossed for too long and they'd stay that way. I kept pushing my luck. I thought I was pretty daring and brave. Nope. Just a sucker. Devastated about Santa. I was skeptical about the Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy. But when they told me Santa wasn't real too, I was crushed. The sweet old couple across the street who watched my brother and I when my parents were working aren't actually my grandparents. The Easter Bunny. I didn't care about the Tooth Fairy or Santa. But the Easter Bunny wrecked me, and I don't know why. That the big hay bales wrapped in plastic tarp in the countryside weren't giant marshmallows. I was pretty crushed to discover that my dad didn't actually want to be a part of our family. Every Canadian who grew up in the 90s, for about 47 seconds believed in house hippos. That when it's raining and the sun is shining at the same time, foxes get married. Finding a star on your Tootsie Pop wrapper didn't earn you a free Tootsie Pop. That all adults collectively had their shit together. Oh, how wrong I was. That Marilyn Manson did not get his lower ribs removed so he could sue. Some parents are nice to their kids because it looks good publicly. Being a teenager is the best period in life. Oh God, I was wrong. That tongue doesn't have specific sections for different tastes. Australia's currency is not, in fact, called the dollary-do. That love was unconditional. Sorry to dampen your weekend. That jumping in New Year's Eve would make you grow taller.